Hello, everyone. Welcome to Heartlines. This is our space where we discuss all things friendship, marriage, love, relationship, and everything in between. I'm going to be your host for tonight, Osayua Mesali, and of course, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I have Precious joining me via Zoom. Hi, Precious.
Hi, good evening.
My ever reliable, ever dependable.
I
Ah,
love being here.
Asajo decided to abandon us.
No, he will pay.
Ah, definitely. How are you? How was your yesterday? I believe, yeah.
Yesterday was fine. Today was fine. Like
Okay.
at least Port Harcourt today was good.
Precious, I was saying that yesterday, this conversation we had yesterday with Chente and Shay, we talked about. I've always heard about the Port Harcourt Bolly and fish, the famous Port Harcourt Bolly and fish, and I need to go and eat that Bolly and fish. My sister was in University of Port Harcourt for 4 years, and she would not stop talking about Port Harcourt Bolly and fish. So, in the spirit of making sure that I'm living my life and I'm not just existing, I need to
Yeah.
experience Port Harcourt Bolly and fish. So I'm just letting you know. In case I call you one day, say, Precious, I'm in your street for Bolly and fish.
No problem. No problem. We're available.
Oh, God. All right. So, I mean, this conversation, do we play that video first? So it sets, before we
Let's
go into,
yes,
yeah,
yes.
before we go into the conversation, I links if you have anybody, right, that have decided that parenting is for retirement, right, because the conversation we're having is how do we draw the line between parental duties and retirement plans. You know how some parents raise their children as retirement plans for them in the future, and you know how you're supposed to do your duties as a parent, which is cater for the children, pay their fees, and all of that. So I mean, it's just for us because we saw a very interesting video online, and I thought it'd be nice for us to be able to just have a conversation around it. So be a part of the conversation. Call us or leave your messages on YouTube. You can send a message on 081-803-84663. You can also call us 0702-500-7749 or 0701424220. Precious, let us call for that video so it helps to set the tone for the conversation. Then I'll come back to you.
Kid, one of the biggest lessons I had to learn in my life is that I don't owe my parents anything. I owe my parents zero. And it's one of the hardest things because in our culture, we're raised to feel like we owe our parents everything. We owe our parents every inch of success we gain. But the truth of the matter is, you didn't choose to come into this world, right? And if your parents your parents chose to get pregnant and give birth to you, them putting a roof over your head, that's their responsibility. Them feeding you, that's their responsibility. Them clothing you, that is their responsibility. I feel like as an African kid, we get bullied a lot by our parents because they always say, at least you had a roof over your head, you have food in the fridge, blah, blah. But the truth of the matter is, like, that is literally the bare minimum of what you're supposed to do as a fucking parent. Like, our African parents literally bully their children, and they had kids just to have someone to control and oppress. They didn't have kids for a better tomorrow. They had kids that they could control. And one of the biggest lessons I had to learn, and I will always be the bad guy because when I talk to y'all, I'm the bad guy. One of the biggest lessons I had to learn in my life is that I don't owe my parents a fucking thing at all.
Okay. I apologize for her use of word. I thought the editors would have blurred that, but Precious, I don't owe my parents anything. So, this is the basis for the conversation that we want to have tonight. And I want us to be as deep as possible, as expanded and open-minded as possible. But let us just have this conversation. So when it comes to childcare, right, how do we draw the line between turning your child to a retirement plan and also probably raising that child to do your parental duties?
Well, when I watched the video earlier today, I was heartbroken. for so many reasons. But I'm going to try to answer it basically from the question you asked. So let's start with childcare. What makes you a parent is that you have a child, right? So whether you gave birth to that child or you're just raising the child, you're a guardian, you're a parent. How have parents, and it's the truth, sometimes parents have made children feel like, look, all of this I am doing for you is because I want in my old age that you can take care of me. And some have abused the opportunity. So when it has to do with childcare, parents are supposed to take care of children. I mean, we query parents for not taking care of their kids or the kids in their ward. We say, look, this child didn't ask to be born. Why are you suffering this child? We understand it when life can throw challenges, at parenthood. But the few times when you had all the necessary resources, but the few times when you had all the necessary resources, why did you not take care of this child? Some people whose parents said after secondary school, we're no longer training you. Once you write your WAEC, you are on your own. We give you a roof over your head. We would feed you, but we would not further your education. And these young men and women, most of them had to train themselves in school. So there are also other parents who, as they probably they couldn't even take care of the kids as per their education. And then these children turn out to be kids tomorrow who don't have good jobs, they can't, or even keep a steady job, they can't have a roof over their head. Feeding is something that is difficult. How do you tell, I've given like 3 different scenarios. How do you now come to these kids and say you must be responsible for your parents?
Okay.
Care is yeah, so care and kindness has to go together when it has to do with the kids. We're going to talk about him, but I just wanted to say that there are different scenarios why a child will say, look, I don't owe anything to my parents.
So, this is a very touchy topic for me, especially because,
Yes.
first of all, I'm somebody's daughter, and I've seen the sacrifices those people made to get me to where I am. And I also know the sacrifices I am making today to give my children better lives. So I understand that there's the part of parental duties. And because, again, no child has to be brought to this world, right? When you decide to bring a child to this world, it is your duty, right, for you to be able to give that child quality life, education, a roof over their head, shelter, food, healthcare, and all of that. Nurture them. That is your job. It is a duty as a parent to do it. Where I find this a bit troubling is the insensitivity of not acknowledging the fact that some parents is not because out of abundance of what they have, right? It is not out of the abundance that they do certain things for us as children. It is because they have looked at it and they see that I don't have a choice, right? So if it means that I have to sell my wrapper, if it means that I have to sell my jewelry, I'll do all of that. I just need to be able to get my children to a place that they are better than I, and give them the opportunities that I was never exposed to. That is the job of a parent. So
Yes.
when somebody comes out to say this, and, she's stating facts, unfortunately, because as a child, you don't owe your parents anything, right? You don't owe them anything. Whatever it is that they have done it, because it is their duty. right? They've done it, and it is because it's their duty. But you coming out to say it the way and manner you said it. You know the comment I left on that post? I said, I pray she finds a child that is going to be exactly like her. That was my prayer for her. Then maybe she would understand what it feels for you to say, those kinds of things. There are many parents that have access to so many things. For those parents, it's not a big deal what she's saying. But for the parents that have to go through a lot of sacrifices to put her in that school, to be able to even speak the English she's speaking, to put her in that school, to be able to even speak the English she's speaking, insensitivity. And when you now hear that some parents go naked and they curse the day that they birthed that child, it is things like this that evokes that kind of curse.
Yeah.
And that's why for me it was just a painful thing. Have parents turned some of their children?
Yeah.
We don't plan.
That, yes.
We just believe that, okay, just because I have trained this child and everything, automatically, once the child gets a decent job, the child is doing well,